it gives us I think an insight on entities, relationship, creating relationship in business processes and all that. Yeah. So that's what I basically got yesterday. But I'm still new to it, so I'm trying my best to meet up. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine. All right, thank you. Okay, so how about Basi? Is Basi, can she hear me? Good evening, Basi. Can you hear me? Can Basi hear me? Okay, so if Basi is not there, Tisha Naomi, can Naomi hear me? Good evening, Naomi. Looks like everybody. If you are saying something, you're muted. We cannot hear you. Okay. Um, Naomi is not there. All right. How about Awochika Elizabeth? Can she hear me? Looks like Elizabeth is not here too. Okay, so who okay, yeah, Victoria, you were in class yesterday. So I'll start. I've forgotten you were here. Victoria, can you hear me?
Yeah, good evening.
Okay,
Yes, ma.
okay,
This is
okay.
Elizabeth. I didn't join yesterday, so I can't. I'm just trying to watch
Okay,
the video. Yes.
okay, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. Okay, so Victoria, in just 1 minute, can you just share with us what you picked, how the class was? Were you know to Power Pivot, and how was the class? What are those things you picked from the class?
All right, thank you so much, ma. Um, Yesterday's class was amazing. It was full of different things I didn't know Excel can do. Especially, yes, the Power Pivot. I'm very new to it. Very, very new. I've not seen Power Pivot before in Excel. So I only used to see those relational something I used to think it's just Power BI, but now it was very interesting and it was simple. Like the dimension and fact table, I just knew it. Like I knew it theoretically, but the practical section in the class, saying okay, what are in fact table, the dimension table, and giving them relationships. Yes, giving the relationships, then bringing it into Power Pivot to make like function, DAX function, all these DAX function, calculated columns and all of that. So it was actually very, very amazing. And personally, I want to go out. I want to really try them out after the whole class this weekend. So I'll not forget them.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. Thank you so much, Victoria. Okay, so we just move straight to the business of the day. I'll share my screen now. And please, if I'm too fast, naturally I talk very fast. So if I'm too fast, call my attention to it so that I would slow down and carry everybody along. And if you get lost at some point, also call my attention to it so that I can, come and pick you up and would continue journey together. Thank you. So I'm going to share my screen now and I'll go over the project we are working on. On the norms, I should have just shown us how to use some DAX function, going with the arithmetic DAX arithmetic operators, the DAX math and stat functions, that date function, all the DAX functions I would have shown us, but to just work with time so that we'll not extend beyond these 3 weeks. And that is why I'm going with the project. So while working on the project, we're still looking at some DAX functions, and that way we are learning on both ends. So I'll just we'll go over this, although we started working on it already, but let's go over it again. And we'll move straight to the analysis goal, where we are told to analyze our data and show the key performance indicators such as the total revenue. Yeah, I sent an edited copy of this project, this file, to a Google Classroom. So you can go over it again and download the edited one or the updated one. So total revenue, the total profits, the customer count, the product count, and average order value. Then how do monthly and quarterly revenue and profit trends revolve over time? What is the demographic breakdown of customers by their age and gender, and also the regions, and how is the revenue distributed geographically across different categories? We have other objective here, which is under the product performance and profitability, and the customer insight and retention would come to this once we are done with the first part. So one thing about when it comes to analyzing your data, the first thing you do is to understand the objective that you are given. What exactly is that objective? Because sometimes if you don't understand the objective well, you might end up solving your own problem and not the problem of the business. So you have to understand what the company, what they are looking out for, what they want exactly, what their objective is, what the kind of questions or the kind of answers they want you to provide for them to make them make better decisions or make them make profit for their business. So you have to understand this, the objective itself. When they say they want to get the key performance indicator, the total revenue, total profits, customer count, product count, and average order, everything, you have to understand them clearly. There are some objectives that maybe because it's not your field or you've maybe not really come across some words there, you might have to go further by checking out the meaning of what some words in those objective is. For example, if they're telling you to how does inflation, how does it affect the economic growth? It's part of the objective given to you in one of your analysis that you have to work on. And it's not everybody that knows the meaning of inflation. So it might take you going to look for the meaning of some keywords in the objective, what you've been asked to work on, to understand what exactly you've been told to do. So after understanding what you've been told to do, then there's a process of you breaking down the objective into, okay, what are the kind of data that I need to work on this analysis? Do I have data? Do I have everything complete? If I have them complete, okay, can I start working on the analysis? And once I'm done, then present this analysis using visuals, using basic charts that they can understand when they look at them. So we have our data complete. We have all data I want to work on. And the next thing is start working on the analysis, which we started yesterday already. So I'll open my Excel file, then I'll go back to the Power Pivot where we already started creating some measures. So I'm trying to open my Power Pivot now. Okay, yeah, so we have all our data here. And here in the sales fact 2011-2016, the table, in the calculation area, we've calculated for the total revenue where we use the DAX function sum equal to sum all the revenue in the sales fact 2011-2016. Then for total profits, we have this. We use sum as well to calculate. And let's not forget we created calculated column here using the DAX operator. For revenue, we used the sales, that is unit price multiplied by the order quantity. Then for the profit, we said revenue minus the cost to get the profits here. That was how we added these two columns for revenue and for profit. So with the mathematical DAX function, such as the sum, we've been able to calculate the total revenue, then total profit. So let's look at one other thing. The other thing is the access to calculate. For total revenue, total profit, and there is customer count. So can someone remind me what I said about distinct count and count yesterday? I said something about that. If I want to get the customer count and I'm going to use the count function, which of the table will I work with? Is it the sales fact table or the dimension table for customers? Anybody? If I'm going to be using the count function and I want to get the number of customers,
You're going to use the sales. You're going to use this one that we are in actually now.
if I want to use the count function, we have distinct count and we have count, and I want to get total customers that we have. So which of the function will I use? Is it this? If I'm going to work with the sales fact table, am I using
You use distinct count.
Distinct count.
Why am I using distinct count?
So as to get the number of customers and not the number of transactions, the number of times they transacted.
Not their duplicates. To count exactly the number of customers that we have that's purchased from the company or the business. Well, thank you very much. So we've done that where we use distinct count, counting the number of customers using the sales fact table. So the next one is, let's look at what else. We've gotten customer count and then product count. I'm going to use distinct count as well. So I would select somewhere in the calculation area. Let me just use this place, and I would say, come here, and I'll type total product. Now, semicolon equal to, where I would say, okay, what I want to find is the total product, distinct count, open parentheses. What do you want to count? I'm going to use the product ID that is here in the sales fact table. So I'm saying product ID coming from the sales fact table, and I'll close my parentheses and I would hit enter. would get the total products that we have here, 130 products in total. The next thing we have to find is what is the average order value. Now, to get this average order value is going to be the total revenue total revenue divided by total orders, not minus. Total revenue divided by total orders. So it means we have to count the number of orders that's in place so far. So to get the number of orders that have been placed so far, I'll go back here. First, before you can get average order value, you have to get the total number of orders that's in place. So I would either use count rows or count rows to count all the records in the sales fact table, or just count the order ID. So whichever one you want to use will still give you the same result. So I would say, come here and type in first total orders, then colon equal to, and I would say, if I'm going to use, I want to count the order ID. So I'll use count. So I'll use count, open my parentheses, and I'll type in the order ID. So you can see order ID. Since we are currently in the sales fact, you can just go with the order ID here. Or you can choose this one, anyone you want to go to. As long as you are in that table, you can just choose that column name instead. Then I'll close my parentheses and hit enter. This will count all the orders that's in place so far. So we have it here over 113,036 orders are in place so far. Let me just add a comma so that we can just join all the numbers together. Now reduce decimal. So the next thing we are told to find the average value order. And I said the formula for average value order is total revenue divided by the total orders. So I'd come here and select anywhere under the calculation area, and I would say average value order, then colon equal to, and I would say total. So I can use the function divide, or I'll just use the arithmetic operator slash. What do I mean? Total revenue. This is total revenue here. Slash like this, slash total orders. This is still the same thing as you are dividing the revenue by orders. Or I'll just use divide. So I'll show us the two now. I'll hit enter. This is going to help us generate the average value order based on the formula we've generated here. Then I would okay, so I'm going to reduce decimal for this a bit. Good. So let's say I want to use the divide function to do that, to get the same result for average value order. I would use divide function. I'll just give this AVG value order 2 to differentiate from the other, because you must not have two measures having the same name. It will not even give you, to not allow that. Equal to, then I'll say divide. So you can see divide says safe divide function, the ability to handle divide by zero case. Divide. The first argument is the numerator, which is the total revenue, comma. The next argument is the denominator, which is going to be our total orders. Then I'll just close my parentheses and hit enter. This would give us the same result as when we use just the slash to divide. It will give us the same result. So I'll just delete this one. I'm just showing us how you can also use divide. I don't need this. I'll delete this one. Yes, delete from model. So let's go back to, okay, I'm coming on. I'm trying to stop this from sharing. Okay, so we've gotten our total revenue, total profit, customer count, product count, and average order. So before we move on to the next one, to start looking at those ones, remember I said some mathematical or stat DAX functions. We have sum, we have average, we have minimum, we have maximum, we have count. If I want to, that's the part about our objective there, but I'm just showing us how that you can also use max and min. If I want to get the maximum revenue, I can just come here and type in max revenue, then colon equal to, and I'll use the function max This function, I can see max here, max. Then what I want to find? Revenue, max revenue. So I'll select revenue and I'll close my parentheses and hit enter. This will generate the maximum revenue from this column, the highest revenue in this revenue column. You would have it here. Same thing if you want to find the minimum revenue, it will be generated as well, minimum. You'd come here, select the next cell in the calculation area, and you'd say minimum revenue. This would give you the least revenue in this revenue column here. So all these are math and stat DAX function equal to. So I use the function min, and you see it tells you return the smallest numerical value in a column or the smaller value between two scalar expressions. So I'll double click on this. Then I'll say I want to get the minimum revenue in the revenue column. Select this, close my parentheses, and hit enter. I get the maximum. So don't forget, I'm not showing us, it's part of our objective. I'm showing us that you can also use these DAX functions as well. So I'll delete this both from the model. Delete this from the model as well. Now we can go to our pivot table. How do you get the pivot table? Just come here, still in the home tab, you can see pivot table. So come here to pivot table and hit pivot table to take us back to our pivot table where it was. So no, I'm just going to close this. This is where our pivot table is. So you can, if you scroll down to this sales fact, you'd see all our measures that we've created are here. You can see total profit. When you're seeing FX, these are measures you calculated using some DAX functions. You can see total profit, total quantity, total customer, total orders placed, total products, total orders, average value order. So if I'm going to add, let's remove all this. Let's remove this, or let me just leave them. Control C, I'll paste this here. Control V, then I'll drag out this and I'll start dragging in the measures one after the other. First, I'll start with total revenue because that's the first key KPI, the first measure we have to calculate. So total revenue, we have this. Then Control C, paste another one here, Control V, and I'll drag this revenue out, then check the box for total profit. So I'll check total profit. I've done this. Then the next one is customer count, then product count, Control C, then paste this here, Control V, and I would uncheck. Is that you drag out or you just uncheck? Uncheck the box for total profit, then add total customer. So you get to see, okay, this is the total revenue, the total profit, the total customer. So we'll go to look at product count, Control C, then Control V, product count. So scroll down as well, uncheck total customer, check total products. You can see, same thing. I want to look at the average order value, Control C, Control V. I would uncheck the total product, then check the average order value. So you can see this. Now let's go back to our objective. The next one is, how do monthly or quarterly revenue and profit trends evolve over time? How? So I'm going to use a pivot table to summarize that data. Going back to where our pivot table is, still Control C. Let's do another line, Control V, and I would say, okay, I'm going to work with the dates column, the dates table, I mean. So if you're looking at this place, all your table is not showing, you come here to all. Currently, it's showing you just the active cells, the active tables, I mean, alone, the active ones alone. So to show all the tables, just come here and click on all. It will show you everything. So I would go to my dim calendar. If I drag in this dates, you can see dates here goes to the column. You can see dates here in the rows. But I wanted to show year. I wanted to just, so I'm able to group the dates into year, quarter, month, like that. Then let's just go back. There's something called hierarchy in the created of hierarchy. I don't know if maybe for those of us that we've used maybe a little of Power BI, there's a way you can create hierarchy with your data for your dates or any of the data that has to do with category, subcategory, or just have sub columns in it. Then let's just go back to our Power Pivot here. Then I'll go to my diagram view. First, let's look at the data of the dim calendar first of all. So we have date, So we have some date DAX functions as well. Let's assume that I want to generate, assume we don't have a column for year, or a column for month, or a column for month name, or quarter. Let's do for this first three. I want to add, we're assuming that we don't have a column for year now, and I want to add year. So I'll use the function, the DAX function, the date DAX function called year. So I'll give this year 2. The reason I'm giving it year 2 is because we have year already. So if I put year to not create the column, so year, then I'll use the function. So hold on. Yes. So I'll use the function. I'll just use the function year. So when I use the function year, so you can see this. Okay. So I'll use the function year, and just this year is coming from, this is not a year coming from the calendar. So let's see. So year, you can see this is the year I'm using. It's FX year. So it's saying returns the year of a date as 4-digit integer. So I'll double click on this particular year. The parenthesis is open, and I'll type in, the only argument it takes is the date. So I'll type in date. Now, be sure, don't just select this date. When you're seeing FX, these are the formulas, the functions, the DAX functions in Power Pivot. You don't just select these ones. Scroll and look for the date that is coming from the dim calendar. So you can see we have dates here. This particular one is the one you're going to draw in. It's going to be our argument. So I'll double click on this one. So I'm saying generate or extract the year from the date from the dim calendar. So I would hit enter, and it will generate, you would see that it will extract all the years in this date. Can you see exactly the same thing as this? Remember, we created this particular dimension calendar from using the M code in Power Query. But I'm showing you how you can also use DAX function to create this same column here in Power Pivot. But I don't want this. I would still remove them, but for now, so what if I want to, the same thing for month. If you want to look for month, enter month 2, then hit enter, and I would say, okay, for month, I would use the function month for it, month, and make sure you can see this is the month I want, this one that carries FX. This is the function itself. FX is the function. So it says returns a number from 1, that is January, then to 12, which is December. So I double click on this, and the only argument it takes as well is the date. And the date must be the one coming from the dim calendar. So I'll type in date, and make sure it's this one. It carries the table name along with it, I mean. So I double click on this, and I would close my parentheses and hit enter. Then it generates the month for me like this. So what if I don't want to show month? I want to show the month name. The month name. I don't want to show month number, because 1 represents January, then down to 12 represents December. I don't want to show the month number, but I want to show the month name using the DAX function. So I'm going to come here. I'll rename this to, I'll just give it month short, or just month name 2. Month name 2. Then I'll hit enter. Then once this pops up, the equal to sign pops up in the formula bar, I would say, okay, I'll use a function called format. This format function allows you to convert a text in a specific format. So if you click on this format, the first thing is asking for is the value you want to format. What do you want to format? I want to format the date. Where is the date? The date is coming from the dim calendar. Then what do you want to do? I want to format it. The next argument is the format. So if I want it to show full name, I'll type in M 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. M like this 4 times. Then I'll close my parentheses and hit enter. Once I hit enter, you'd see what is going to show. It's going to bring out the name. Can you see? It brought out the name, full name. Well, what if I don't want it to show full name? I want it to just show first 3 letters of the month. So I'll just give this, I'll remove 1 M. It's going to be just 3 M. So if you wanted to return first 3 letters of every of the month, use 3 M. If you wanted to show the full month name, use 4 M's. So I'll go with the 3 M's and hit enter. So you would see that it's going to just generate the first 3 letters. You can see July, J-U-L. If you scroll down, January is going to be just Jan. If you scroll down, you can see August, A-U-G. You can see September. Instead of the full name, it's showing you just a short form. So I can just rename this from month name. I'll just give it, since we have month name here, I'll give it month short. You see how we are using, these are date DAX functions. How we are using date DAX functions to create more columns, calculated columns in our date dimension table. I'll hit enter, give it one shot. So the next thing is, this quarter is not looking the way it should look. Of course, it's okay. It's showing 3, 3. 3 is for the third quarter, 2 is for second quarter, 1 is for first quarter. But what if I want to make it more unique by adding maybe to make it Q1, Q2, Q3? To do this, I'll double click on this add column. I'll name this, maybe let's give this quarter, I'll give it quarter ID. Yeah, let me just give it quarter ID and hit enter. Then when the formula bar, when it becomes active, I'll see this formula, the function format. So I'll say format. So it's asking you, okay, what do you want to format? I want to format the date in the date dimension table. The date coming from the dim calendar, comma. Then the next argument is, what is the format? So I'm going to use this as a format. So slash, where is my slash now? Yes, this slash, then QQ, like this. And I'll close my parenthesis. So let's see what happens when we do this. Waiting for it. So can you see now that you're seeing, instead of showing just Q, just 3, this makes more sense compared to this. I'm just saying 3, 3, 3. Someone can mistake it for the month name, even not for the, you can even not look at the column headers. You can mistake it for month. But with this Q3, I get to know, okay, Q3 stands for the third quarter. Q2 stands for the second quarter. Q1 stands for the first quarter. It makes more sense this way. Can you see how we use the function? Now, this format is a text function, a text that function actually. But I use it here. You see now you use the date, the year, the month, to narrate the year. How you use the format to also change the format of your date from this long month name to short month name, and also the quarter ID. Okay, so the next thing, first, I'm going to just delete the ones I don't need. I don't need this year 2, and I also don't need this month 2. The same thing, I don't want the quarter as well, because I have a column representing it very well. So I highlighted all these 3, then right click, and I'll say delete columns. I will just delete. Are you sure you want to delete them? Or if I don't want to delete them, there's a way you can hide them. And how do I hide them from this place? Say I didn't want to delete them, then I'll just go, let me just hit no, don't delete. What I'm going to do is to, let me drag this here. So what I'm going to do is to just come to your design tab. Here in your design tab, you can see table properties. So click on table properties. You meant to click on table properties. Then this edit table properties appears. You can see that each of these columns here are checked. So if I don't want anyone to be seen here, I can uncheck it. First, I don't want this month name. Since I have month short, I would uncheck month name. I also don't want, okay, so it's not showing all the details. It's only showing, so I'll just uncheck month name. I don't want it. I would save this. The moment I save this, you would see that it's saved. So I'm coming. Saved. You can't find that month name anymore here because I've unchecked it. The reason why I didn't bring all these ones is because I created some of them here using DAX. So I'll just delete them right away. I'll delete it right away here. And also quarter. Year 2, press down my control button. Quarter. Okay, I can't do that here. Delete year 2. Yes, delete. Then I'll also delete month 2 as well, because I don't need it. Right click and delete the column. Yes. So I'm left with, okay, so I'm left with this. I'm just going to go to the back and hide this quarter as well. I won't delete it, I'll hide it. So table properties, once it pops up, I would just uncheck the one for quarter and save it. So we will not find it on that table. You won't find them. So you can hide the columns that you don't want to see from the user interface. You can hide them using this by coming to this table. So you can see we have the date, the year, the month, start of the week. Now month short that we created using DAX function. then the quarter ID. So I'm okay with this one. What we want to do is to create hierarchy with our data. First, I'll go back to my diagram view that shows the model itself that we've created. Once it pops up here in the dimension table. You can see here we have create hierarchy. There's a button here, create hierarchy. This one is to maximize it. This is to create hierarchy. I want to create hierarchy. Hierarchy, okay. Can anyone tell me what creating hierarchy is all about? You have any idea of what creating hierarchy is? Anybody? You want to share?
Yes. Can I
Okay.
speak?
Yes, you can.
All right. For example, on the item your cursor is offering on is the dim calendar.
Okay.
So the order of hierarchy should be in year, month.
Okay, I'm listening.
Yes, the order of hierarchy is year, month, weeks. No, year. What's it called? Probably yes, year, month,
Yeah. So
week
it's
of.
going to thank you so much for sharing that. So it's going to be like, first let's just define what the hierarchy is all about in the first place. Hierarchy is just like, it has to do with you arranging your data in a very, very structured parent-child relationship, such that you're allowing the users to drill down from higher level data points to the smaller levels. So looking at, if you want to create a hierarchy here in this dim calendar, we are saying it's going to start from the year. In a year we have quarter, and in every quarter we have month. In every month we have weeks. In every weeks we have days. So we're going to create a hierarchy in that order, where the parent is the year, going down. Inside every year you have quarter. We have like 4 quarters, and in every quarters we have months, and in every month we have weeks. In every weeks we have days. We'll start that way, and I'll create hierarchy first. The highest one, the parent level, is when you're going to click first, which is the year. So I'll click on year here, and I'll say create hierarchy. So you can see here, create hierarchy. I'll name this hierarchy date hierarchy. Date hierarchy. I'll hit enter. This would help us date hierarchy. Nothing is here currently. Before I can add something to this hierarchy, you have to drag. So the first thing is the parent, which is the year. I'll drag the year and drag it into hierarchy. So to add it, you can see year here. After year is quarter. So I'll drag the quarter ID to the hierarchy as well, so that to add it in. So you can see after year we have the quarter, and after the quarter we have month. So I'm going to add month short to the hierarchy. So I'll drag it as well to the hierarchy to add it in. Then we'd have a month short. So waiting for it. Okay, I think I didn't drag it well. So month short to hierarchy, so you can add it in. So you can see we have year, quarter, then the month. So next thing I want to add is the week, start of the week. So I'll drag the start of the week here to the hierarchy as well. Then this would create hierarchy for us. If you scroll, so you can see we have the year, and inside every year we have quarter. In quarter we have month. In month we have week. And then we have the one for days. You would also add it to it. So let's leave it at this. I'm okay with this one. Then I'll go back to my Microsoft, the pivot table, I mean. So here you would see the hierarchy. Can you see we have date hierarchy now? Okay, so I have a message here. Someone is saying, does the month short come before the 9th? I don't understand, Esther. Can you explain better? Sorry, I'm just saying this. Does the month short come before the 9th? What do you mean by that? Maybe you should explain further. Thank you. So we have in the dim calendar, we now have a date hierarchy here. So if I drag this out from, you can see just in the row labels, you're just saying date. It doesn't make sense that way. And if you want to create you want to use a line chart to represent this, now it's going to look somehow. So I would just drag this out. Then I would uncheck this. Let me bring it. I'll drag it to the rows. So you can see how we use this. You can see that it groups the dates into year. So if I click on this 2011, I can see quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4. If I click on this plus sign for quarter one, I get to see the month in quarter one. So this way, it makes more sense. It grouped our data. With your data hierarchy, you can group your data such that it will help any user be able to drill down your data from the parent level to the child level. Okay, let me, does the month short come before the month? Among the data, we have month and month short. That month is represented with numbers, where 1 represents January, then 2 February down to December, 12 represents December. So it's holding numerical value. That's why I didn't use it. That's why I used the month short. If you let me go back to PowerPoint so you can see it very well. Let me show the data view so you can see. Can you see that month is represented with numbers here, and the month short with the month name itself? So that's why I use this month short. So it's not an issue. All right. So with the pivot table, I get to see, okay, this is 2011. This is the amount made in 2011. What if I want to see the amount made in the first quarter? I get to see, this is the amount made in the first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, the fourth quarter. Okay, in the first quarter, what is the amount made in January, February, March? Click on that, you get to see it. This is how the date hierarchy would help your work, make it more easier. Unlike when we just use the dates, but I was showing all the dates, it didn't make the work look okay. So I'm just going to, this way we can answer the question of how do monthly or quarterly revenue and profit trends evolve over time. So let's go back here. So I can add the one for profits as well to this. So I'll come here to my sales fact table and I would add the total profit to that. So you can see, oh, this is the amount revenue generated in 2011. This is the profits we made. This is the amount revenue made in 2012. This is the profit. From here, how do I, if I want to sort this column now to see from, let's leave it. Let's not sort it. I'll show us how to sort it, but not now. So I can see that in 2011, this was what was made. This is the profit. 2012, the same thing. 2013, the same thing. 14, the same thing. And looking at this, the highest was made in 2015. You can see 22,405 and 52, like that was the amount made as revenue in 2015. They had the highest. So let's go back. The next thing is, what is the demographic breakdown of customers by age, gender, and region, which is like about the country now. So we want to look at the demographic breakdown. So it's going to be, we want to know the total number of customers based on their age, based on the gender, and also the region. So if you are saying based on the age, it means we have to do on our own, do age grouping, so that we can, if we come here now and say, if I add the age, let's say let me copy this, Ctrl C, and I paste it down here, Ctrl V, then I say, okay, let me drag out date hierarchy. I'll drag out total profit and total revenue. Then come here to dim for customer and check the age. Age goes to the value feed automatically. I'll bring it here to the customer age. Then I'm going to check the customer, the total customer. So I'll come here and look for total customer, check the box. You can see it here, it's showing us, but this way is not really showing well. It would work well if we do age grouping. If we do age grouping, if I try to, okay, let's see if I can group this. Right click and I click on group. So I cannot group the selection. So it won't. So let's use a DAX function to create a logical function. I mean, an age group column, not logical, an age group column. So I go back to my Power Pivot and I'll come here to my dim for customer. So we're going to do an age grouping such that anyone below 18 will be tagged under 18. We want to categorize our customers based on their age by grouping them on. So I think I have one age grouping here that I would like us to use, which is, okay, where is my, okay, so for those that are under 18, below 18, categorize them under 18, and those greater than or equal to 18 and also less than or equal to 24, categorize them under 18 to 24. Those that are greater than or equal to 25 and they are less than or equal to 34, categorize them under 25 to 34. Then those greater than or equal to 35 and they are less than or equal to 44, categorize them under 35 to 44. Then those greater than or equal to 45 and they are less than or equal to 54, categorize them under 45 to 54. Then those that are greater than or equal to 55, categorize them under 55 plus. So that way we have results. So who can tell me what we can use to get this result? Anybody? Which of the now from what we've done so far in Microsoft, all the formulas we use, what can we use to create a new column based on the criteria given? Anybody? What function can we use?
Yes, ma. I think if and you can use
you can use if and. So you're going to put me through on how to do that. Thank you. So I'm going to rename this column here, say age group. Age group. Good. So she said if and age group. So put me through. The first one is that if the age is less than 18, categorize them under age. So let's go. She said we use if and. So if, open my parentheses, if what?
And.
Now the first one, we have multiple criteria. So it means we're going to use nested if. We have multiple criteria. We're going to use nested if. It is if the age is less than 18. So I would say if age. Where is age coming from? Age is coming from the dim customer table, right? If it is less than 18, so what should happen? Comma, categorize them under age. Under age. Sorry, not under age, under 18. Then the next thing is another if. So I'll just move to the next line. So I can drag this so that you can see it. I'll drag this. So it's, yeah, I can drag it. I just drag now so you can see it. Then come here again to the next line. I'll type in if again. So I would say if, open my parentheses, if what? So it's either capital or small letter, anyone. Comma. Another one, if what? The age coming from the dim customer is, the next one is greater than or equal to 18. And so he said in a situation you have two conditions before they can, such as the one as if is greater than or equal to 18 is less than or equal to under 18 to 4. So I'll use the and here, just like what she said. I'll come here and type in and then open my parentheses. I'll show us two ways we can do this. I can either use this and, or I'll use the short form for and, which is double ampersand. Is it I come here and type it and, which I've showed us already before in Microsoft Excel when we're doing if vertical function and I'll just come here and use the ampersand, double ampersand. This double ampersand signifies and as well. And I would say if the age from the dim customer is now less than or equal to 24. So what should happen? It should be that you categorize them under 18 to 24.
Hello, ma. You
Hello,
didn't put equal to in that, like the first statement, that place. It's not like greater or equal to it.
Yeah, 18. Thank you very much for that. So if we are saying if the dim customer age is less than 18, categorize them under 18. And if the dim customer age is greater than or equal to 18, and the dim customer age is less than or equal to 24, categorize them under 18 to 24. So comma, and move to the next one. This is nested if. When you have if inside of if, we call it nested if. The next one is that if the age coming from the dim customer is 35, no, this is greater than or equal to 25. You have to be very careful. And The dim.
The age you picked is wrong. You picked sum of age.
Oh, thank you. So age, thank you for putting attention to that. Age, yeah. And the age coming from is also less than or equal to 34. Then categorize them under 5 to 34. Okay, so the next one is another if. I would say if, open my, so you have plenty if. This is nested if when you have if instead of if. If the age as well, next to 5 and less than equal to
Sorry, ma.
44.
Just copy the dash function and just change the equals and greater than.
Okay, makes sense. So when I do for the last one, I've typed this already. So you can smart work greater than or equal to 35 and the age is less than or equal to 44. So I'd categorize these ones under 35 to 44. Then the last one is so let me just copy. No, it's not even the last one. I'll copy this just like the other person said we should. Control V. If it's greater than or equal to 45 and less than or equal to 54, categorize under 45 to 54. Then the last part, which is going to be greater than or equal to 55, categorize 55 plus. So let me just use this. Control C, Control V to paste this here. Now greater than or equal to 55. Then comma. I'm saying just categorize them under 55 plus. Then the last one is value if false. So if it doesn't meet any of these criteria here, just categorize it under unknown. So anyone you see under unknown, it could be that it's not a number, because every number, as long as it's a number, will be categorized under all these that we've stated here. So I'll close my parentheses, and once I'm done closing my parentheses, so you might have to close as many as possible. Yes, so I've closed the last point. Then I'm going to hit enter. So let's see if we get a result for it. Can you see that we've using this if logical function, we've been able to generate all this here. So if without using if, another logical function we can use is the switch function. Switch function. This switch function would allow you to get the same result like this without you doing comparison. What do I mean? If I use the switch, let me copy this particular formula here, Control C to copy. Then I'll just hit enter and I'll create a new column. I want to derive the same age group. I'll give this age group. So I'm just going to show us how to, we've gotten what we're looking for already, but I want to show us how we can use switch function to do that. So I'll come here and once the formula bar pops up, so I would say, and I'll type in switch. This switch function is also a logical DAX function. Switch, you can see it here. So it said returns different results depending on the value of an expression. There's switch function, there's true function, there's false function. So I'll use switch and true function together. So what is the essence of doing? Now let's look at what switch function is. First of all, switch function will return different results depending on the value of an expression. It will return different results like the one we did for each of the age grouping. Then what will true function do? True function is also a logical function, a logical DAX function. The true function would return a logical value if it is true. So I'll click on this. So with the true function, you don't have to do comparison using the if, like if this is this, if it's this. You don't have to do that. Do it. I'll come to the next. Let's see.
Sorry, your voice is breaking, ma.
It's breaking. Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's better now. Thank you.
So what I'm not having to use the if. I will not use if here at all. I'll paste that formula here and I'll remove all the if I typed here. I'll remove all the if. Everything here. So I have this way, and also I'll remove all these brackets at the back. So you can see that it's using the switch and play function. I don't have to putting in if comparison. I don't have. So this true is saying that as long as everything is met, it's all condition must be met before it return all this value. That's what this true function is doing here. I'm saying that all of this condition here must be met before all this age can be categorized under what we asked it to categorize it into. So once I'm done, I'm only going to put in one bracket, which is for this one here. So let's see. Why is this giving us? So let's see. And I'll hit enter and see. So we have syntax error. Provide a value for, so I'll check what the problem is now. Control C, and I'm going to paste it here. I don't know why it's giving me, it's bringing that error. Okay, so I have question here. Sorry for those of us that could not hear anything at some point. I'm sorry. So switch function, then if it is true, so I don't know why it's bringing this error. It shouldn't bring error. So I'm trying to check what the problem is that is bringing this error for us. Okay. Oh yes, the error, even at that, it should not bring this error at that. It should still bring. So let me run it again and see. It contains a syntax, provide a formula. So I'm going to check the details of. Okay, so I'll check that out later. I don't know why it's giving error, so we won't waste time. But there should be, it's just something, just one thing. It could be that we are missing out something from the formula. That's why it's bringing this error. So could it be because there is no comma after the true? Oh, so it's true. Let me add the comma here and see. Thank you so much. That's the reason. That's the reason. I know it was something, so I'll run it again. I'll run it again. Thank you so much for calling my attention to that. So yes, the reason was because of that comma. There was no comma after, so it's switch, then true, then you start typing in all the criteria, and you got the same result as this. So you can see how we use the switch function and the true function combined together to get the same result using the if. So anyone that you want to use, go start with. So thank you so much for that. Who called my attention to that? Esther, thank you so much. Thank you. So I'm going to delete this. I'm just showing us how to. Then I would right click on this. I would right click on this. I don't need this one. I would just delete it. Okay, so I'm going to delete this column so I'll delete the column that we made with switch. I only need one column, so I'll work with this, or I can just delete this one that we use if for. Let's delete this one. Yes, delete it. So when you go back to your power pivot table, I'm going to remove the age here and use the age group instead. So you can see how that this is showing us, from 35 to 34 to 44, we have this number of customers. From 45 to 54, we have this number of customers. Like this straight down, you get to see the number of customers this way. So don't forget to rename them. I'll give this age group, customer age group. Then the next thing we have to find is, after the age, then the gender and the region, that is the country. So I'll come here, looking at the customer demographics now. Let me just bring this here. Or let's say I bring this to this. Okay, let me just leave this at this place. Then I'll bring the gender here as well. Then I'll drag in the total customers. Yes, total customers. So I'll change this to gender. So we can see the ratio of the male to female customers here. I'll give it gender. The next thing is based on location. So I'll copy this as well, Ctrl C, then paste this down, Ctrl V, and I would uncheck the gender, then go to the location dim table and check. Don't forget, I said if you can't find the table you want to work with here in the active pane, come here to all and you see all your tables. So come here, dim, and I'll select country. So you get to see based on country. So you can see most of them. If I want to sort this in order to see the country that has the largest number of customers, select anywhere in the column here in the pivot table that contains the field that contains the numerical values. Right click on it and you see sort, then sort from largest to smallest. Then this is sorted in this order. I can see the highest. United States has the highest number of customers and producing from the company. So, and the list is coming from UK, United Kingdom. So let's go back. We've looked at the demographics based on their age, the gender, and the region. So how is revenue distributed geographically across different countries? So it means you are plotting the pivot table you're plotting revenue against the country. So I'd come here, as usual, Control C and Control V, Control C, then come here and just paste it, Control V. Then I'm going to I'll uncheck the customer age group here. I would use the country in the location. Then I'll go and calculate the total revenue. So where is the revenue? Total revenue. Yes. So I get to see if I'm also going to sort this in order of the country that has the highest, or the company generated the highest revenue from. I'll come here, you hit sort from largest to smallest. So you can see here, UK still has the highest revenue, then followed by Australia, the United Kingdom, and we have releases from Canada. We've done this. All these are just you running your analysis, just using a pivot table to summarize your data to draw insight from it. We look at how you can use your charts to visualize this information that you've gotten. Then the next thing is, okay, we've gotten to this part already. We want to look at the product performance and profitability. So which product category generates the highest revenue and profit? To do this, I would just go back. I'll do it separately. Product category, this is product category here. First, let me change this from gender to country. Gender to country. So I would drag this from this, please drag it to the other side. Yes. So we are going to get the revenue, the product category that has from the question that generates the highest revenue and also the highest profits. So I'd come here, I'll do it separate. I can add them in the same pivot table, but I'll do it separately. So product category, then I'll come here to check the total revenue. I'll sort it from largest. So from here, we can see that bikes takes the highest revenue. So I'll rename this to product category. Product category. And I'll hit enter. Copy the pivot table again, Control C, then bring it here, Control V. The next thing is the revenue, the profit. So I'll scroll down, uncheck total revenue, then check profit, and I get to see the profit. I'm going to sort this too, so that way we get to see so bike is still giving the highest profit, generating the highest profit for the company. Then the next thing is, what are the top 5 performing products by profit? Top 5 performing products by profit. So go back. I'll copy this, Control C, paste it here, Control V. Then I would uncheck product category and check product itself by profit. They said top 5. So if I'm going to get top 5, I have to sort this in order of highest to lowest so that I can get the highest profits at the top. So I'll select anywhere on this total profits, select the first cell, right click, and I'll say sort from largest to smallest. So I get to see, oh, mountain bike, we generate the most profit from this particular product. I'll change this from the category to first product, the name. And I'll hit enter. We are told to just list the top 5. So what do I do? How do I do top 5? You can see this drop down button beside the products. Click on the drop down button here. And you see we have 2 filters. There's label filters and there's value filters. So I'll use the value filters. That is, I want to filter the top 5 products. So the value filters is based on the profit. So select value filters and come here and you see top. When you hover around these value filters, you see other options. You see top 10. I'll come here. You can see we have other options: equal, equals, does not equal, greater than or equal to, less than. Now just come here and click on top 10. So we have different, we can see bottom, top. So we only want to look at top, and we're to top 5. So I'll reduce this. You can either type in 5, or yes, type in 5. So let's go back. If I want to clear the filter, I just apply it now. You hit clear filter, but go over it again. Select this, value filters, come to top 10. Then reduce this to 5. Then the next thing is do you want to, yes, it is by items. Good. By what? The total profit. So if you want to show it based on other measures you've created, you can select the one, but it's just by profit. I'll leave it by profit and I'll hit OK. So it showed us the top product based on the profits. So you can see here that mountain bikes 200 black generates the highest profit for the company. Majority purchased, or no, it may not be the majority purchased, but the highest revenue, highest profit was generated because of this product, followed by road 150, followed by mountains 200 silver. Almost bike, the bike category generates the profits. So the next thing we want to look at is we've done for top 5 performing products. What are the trends in the average order quantity? So it means we have to find the average order quantity, because if we are going to show the trends of it over the years. So I'll go back. Then we'll go to our Power Pivot. We have to calculate the average order quantity. So I'll go to my sales fact table. The sales fact table is one I want to contain all the measures. That's why I'm calculating all the measures here in the sales fact table. We've gotten total orders by using No, we've gotten total quantity. This is total quantity yesterday by summing all the other quantity together. But we want to find average. So I'll change this from sum and I'll change this to average. Average. So this will generate the average. So I'll give this average order quantity. AVG order quantity. I'll hit enter. So instead of the total quantity, it's going to show us the average order quantity. Oh, would have a problem. Let's see. No, we won't have a problem. Yeah, average order quantity. So we have the average order quantity to be this one. Now go back. We will show to show the average order quantity based on show it the trends. Show the trends. So I'll come back here. Then we use so I'm going to copy this, Control C, then paste it here, Control V. Then I would uncheck product, then check, I'll go to my dim calendar. You're not seeing it here because it's not the one we've been using. So come here to all and you see dim calendar. If you click on more feeds, it will bring out more feeds for you. So if I check yes, but since you've created, okay, since we've created the date hierarchy, I'll go with the date hierarchy. So we couldn't complete the action for the pivot table 14 in this sheet 1 because there's already a pivot table, pivot table there, make space and try again. Okay, so I'm just going to Control C. It should work. So I don't know why it's not working. Let me do it again. I'll drag this out. Then I would add the date hierarchy. Let me just bring this here. Let me do it somewhere else so there'll be space. Control C, then come here and do it here. Control V, I would drag out the age group, drag in the date hierarchy, bring the date hierarchy to the rows. So sometimes when you check date, it goes straight to the columns, but you can drag it to the rows. Then I'll drag out total customer and I'll drag in the average order quantity. So here I get to see the average order quantity based on the years. So I'm going to sort this. I'll sort from largest to smallest. So I can see this in 2014, the highest was in 2014, the least was made in 2011. So let me just Control Z to take it back to the way it is. We've done this. Now the next thing we want to look at, we are done with the product performance and profitability, is we have customer insight and retention. What is the average revenue generated per customer? So to get the average revenue generated by customers is going to be total revenue divided by total customers. So I'm going to use the function divide to get the average revenue generated by customers. I'll come here and I would say, okay, I want to find, you can let's drag this back since we're not doing a long DAX formula. And I'll say, okay, average AVD revenue per customer. Revenue per customer. So colon equal to, then would say total revenue. Just use the function divide. The numerator is going to be the total revenue, comma. The denominator is going to be our total customer. So I type in total customer, then I would total customer, and I'll close my parentheses, then hit enter. This would help us with the revenue per customer. So you can see that here. So I drag this to show it well. It tells us this is the average revenue per customer. So I'm going to reduce decimal. Can add dollar sign since I didn't have revenue. I would add dollar sign to it and still reduce decimal because the last time we add the zeros to back. So I'll leave it like this. Then we've gotten that the average revenue per customers. Let's just add it into the, so where all our KPIs are, I would come here, Control C, then paste it here, Control V, and I'll add average revenue per customers, uncheck AVG value order and add average. Okay, add average revenue per customer, then uncheck. So we have this here. And the next thing we have to find is who are the top 5 customers based on the revenue generated. We don't have the names because but we have their IDs. So I would come here based on the revenue. So copy this, Control C, and on your notes, I should have just arranged the pivot table based on the business overview. We'll have them one side, the customer retention and insight one side, and so if you are doing that at the end, you can just arrange it that way so it won't get scattered like this. So I'll come here and I'll paste this, Control V to paste it. Then I'll uncheck average order quantity and check the one for revenue, total revenue. Then the next thing we're going to look at is we don't check the date hierarchy, and we'll check the customer ID. So from here, I'm going to get the top 5 customers. So somebody should help me. What should I do first? I want to get the top 5 customers. I'll rename this to just customers, customer ID. So you have to be very careful too, so that you will not. So I'll rename this from customer age group to customer ID, or just customers. Let me use customer ID. Customer ID. This is the date. This is country. So don't forget to change that. Country. Please, if you're not getting anything, just call my attention to it. I will come back for us, please. Then, okay, this is okay. This is the date as well. Okay, so can someone put me through? If I'm going to get the top 5 customers that we got the highest revenue from, how do I go about that? Who's helping me out? Who wants to help me out?
Okay, can I say something?
Okay, yes, you can.
So, like, as you're on that numeric part, the total revenue, you sort it by click, yes, largest to smallest first.
Okay.
Okay, then you touch the customer ID part.
Okay.
Like one header filter button there, and then use value filter.
Okay.
Then there's top 10. Go to the top 10. Since we need top, I think you said top 5, right?
Yes, top 5. Now reduce to 5.
Yes, change it to 5. Yes.
Okay, very good. Thank you very much. So we have our top 5 customers here, and these are the unique identifiers, the IDs to know that they're the ones. Thank you for that, Victoria. The next one we'll look at is what product categories are preferred by some specific age groups. What product categories are preferred by some specific age groups? So let's go back and say, what if I would put product category and to Control C, I'll bring this here, Control V. What product category are preferred by some specific? So anytime you select your pivot table and it's not bringing out that pivot table fits pivot table pane, you're not seeing it here. So once it's like that, select anywhere in your pivot table, then come to your pivot table analyze. Then you'd see feed list. Click on feed list. It will bring back this pivot table feed. So sometimes at times that even when you click on the pivot table, to not bring it out, you have to come here to pivot table analyze and click on feed list to make it active. So here I would uncheck customer ID, then I'll check the product, dim product category. Then the next thing I'm going to do is to go to the customer and look for the age group, add age groups to it. So the question was, what product categories are preferred by specific age groups? Then I'll add the total number of customers to it. So total number of customers that prefer those some. Let me go back here. Yes. So I would uncheck the total revenue and add total customers to it. So we get to see the number of customers that prefer some distance. So let's see total customers. So with this, I get to see, okay, for the accessories, if I sort this, let me sort everything now from largest to smallest. So here we get to see which of the products that was preferred most by every of the customers based on their age groups. So from here, looking at this, the highest here for the accessories product category, you can see that the category of most of the customers are from the age range 25-34. Then the least are under 18. Then for the bikes, majority of their customers are from that same age range, 25-34. They're over 887. And the list is also under 18. For clothing as well. So most of their customers are within that age range, 35-34. So we don't know why. Maybe most of the things, the bikes, usually those that use them are within that range as well. So I have to check this about your work as an analyst to know why it's like that. Why are those ones in the other range? Are they not using the product? So we've seen the from the question, we've seen the categories of products most preferred by some specific age groups. So let's go back. And before we start building a report to show all this, let me check. So I'll be going offline and coming back as usual. So one thing I'm going to show us now. There's something we call, I've shown us some DAS mathematical and stat functions. I've shown us some DAX date functions. I've shown us some I've not shown us some text stat function. I've not shown us some iterative functions, and I've also not shown us some time intelligence functions. So when I come back now, I'll show us those things. So please stay on the call and give me just 3 minutes. Thank you. All right, guys, so I'm back. I'm sorry for the little delay. So let's just continue from where we stopped. Okay, so before we start building reports, which I don't think we're able to do today, but let's see how it goes. Let's look at, I'll show you how to use some text DAX function and also some time intelligence function, DAX function, and also how you can use the filter function, DAX function as well. We'll use that, look at calculate. So let's quickly look at those two. And to go back to my Power Pivot, I'll just come here to my Power Pivot and click on manage. This is not part, what I want to show us now is not part of the objective, but I want to show us how we can use those functions as well. So when you come across them, you know what function to use. So I would come here, fill in my sales fact table, and I'll just look for somewhere else entirely. So let's start with text DAX function. First of all, let's say, looking at this, which of the column should I work with now? I want to look at, let me go to this team customer and see. I don't have, let's look at location. So let me just use this location table. So what if I want to extract now? For those of us that were with me when I was teaching how to use some text function in Excel back then, what function do I use to extract letters from the left? What is the function? Anybody?
The left function.
The left function.
Left.
Yes. If I want to, let's say, assume I want to work with this, it's not making sense, but then let's assume I want to work with this state column. I want to extract the first three letters from this state column. I'll click on this add column, then I'll give this, I'll just use left, hit enter. Then once the formula bar becomes active for me to type in my formula, I'll use the function left. I would say left, double click on this. So what do you want the only argument it takes is, it takes two arguments actually. The text you want to extract from, which is the state. So I'll type in state, and the state is coming from the dim location, then comma. The next argument is number of characters, 3. Then I'll close my parentheses and hit enter. This is how you use the left function. The left function would help you to, when you can say that's extracted. If you want to extract the last 3 letters, you use the right function to do that. So the same thing as I did in normal Excel, you can do it here too as well. These are DAX text functions. I'll hit enter and say right. The right would help us extract letters from the right. So I would say, okay, I want to extract values from the right. So I'll use right function. And the first argument is the state we want to extract from, state. Then, comma. The next argument is number of characters, which I will say 3 as well. Close my parentheses. Sometimes if you don't close parentheses, it will give you error. So I'll hit enter. This is not like Power BI that once I've hit enter, it will just go like that. Then, so what function will I use to count the number of characters in state column? What is the function? You still remember?
Len.
Thank you very much. Len function. So I'll type in len, hit enter. I'm just trying to brush through this. And I'll say len, and what do I want to do? I want to count the number of characters in the state column. Then I'll close my parentheses and hit enter. So I've gotten my result to count the number of characters in the state column, and we've gotten our answer. So the next, I'm just going to delete these 3 now. I just showed us how we can use the len function to do that. So I'll delete these 3, right click and delete the columns. I don't need them. Yes, delete. So I'm just showing you how to use some. If you have excess spaces in your column, maybe this data you're seeing here in the state column is not, there's a space before the V, excess space before the V, and you just have some excess spaces. You use the trim function to trim out excess spaces from your data and it will work. So note that the trim function to trim excess spaces. If I want to capitalize the states here, what is the function to use to capitalize? Who remembers? If you want to capitalize all the values, upper. Yes. Thank you very much. The upper function, and I'll come here. So once this formula bar becomes active, I would say upper function. I'll click on that. And the only argument it takes is the text, which is the state. So I can just select the column. Once I select the column, because it's not even allowing to select the column. So you just type that in. Then I'll type it state coming from dim location. And what about the one to make them to be in smaller cases? What is the function for that?
Lower.
Thank you very much. Lower, thank you very much. So I'll delete this. I'm just showing us how to. So after this text function, let's look at iterative function before we look at the filter function. What are iterative functions? Iterative data functions are those functions that will perform row by row evaluation of your data and calculate whatever measure you want to calculate. Do you know that I can calculate total revenue without having to calculate the column for revenue here? So let's assume now that I did not calculate the column for revenue. I can use iterative function to get total revenue without calculating this column here. How do I do that? So I'd come here, I'll in this calculation area, and I would give this total revenue 2 because we already have one before. Total revenue 2. So using an iterative function, we have different types. We have the sum x, we have average x, we have mean x, we have max x, we have rank x. So let's look at sum x. So sum x, I type in sum x, you can see it here. It says return the sum of an expression evaluated for each row in a table. Returns the sum of an expression. So what it will do, let me double click on this blue box and let's see the argument. The first argument is the table. So what is that table you want to work on? The table I want to work on is the sales fact table because what I want to do is on the sales fact table. So I'll type in sales, the sales 20, this table alone, then comma. The next argument is the expression. So I'm going to say, remember I said it is used to perform row by row evaluation, then run the calculation to get your measure, whatever you want to calculate. Without me having to create this revenue column, don't forget, what formula did we use to get the revenue column? What formula was used? How did you generate this revenue column? Anybody can remember? Can anybody remember?
Order quantity multiplied by unit price.
Thank you very much. Order quantity multiplied by unit price. So I'll just come here and type in the order quantity. Order quantity. So I can also specify, let's see, order quantity. So I can just select the one that's coming from this table, order quantity, then shift 8 multiplication. I'll say unit price. Unit price. Then I'll close my parentheses. So what I'm saying is calculate, multiply the order quantity by the unit price. And once you are done, sum the result for me. So with these iterative functions, what it will do is it will perform row by row evaluation. That is doing evaluation of multiplying order quantity by price for every of the records here. Then once it's done, it will sum the result up and give me my value for total revenue without having to create a column that contains revenue. So if we had not created revenue column, we would get the same result as when we created it. So let's see what happens if I hit enter now. It generates the same result as the one here for total revenue. So waiting for it to pop up, and I would drag this a bit so that it would fit. So can you see if I should add commas to this one now to make it, it's going to give us exactly the same thing as this one here. Can you see this 95 million plus? The same thing with the one here for total revenue. What's the difference? This one I use just normal sum, normal mathematical DAX function. Then for this one, I use iterative function sum x. So we have average x. If I want to find the average, I would change this from sum x to average x. We also have average x. You can see average x. The same thing. Calculate the average arithmetic mean of a set of expression evaluated over a table. So without having to create a column, you can get your result using iterative functions. But to click on this now, it will give us the average of this result. So where is the table coming from? These two columns that I want to multiply together are coming from this sales fact table. Then this is the expression. This is what I want to calculate. So it could be minus, it could be, I want to do for total profit now. Without having to create a column for profit, it's going to be the cost, revenue minus cost here, that will be here. So iterative functions will perform row by row evaluation and help you generate the result or whatever you are looking for, help you calculate it. So that's that on our iterative function. We have min x, we have max x. Let me just show us. I'm not going to do them, but you can try them out as you are practicing. There's max x, you can see max x, the same thing. There's min x. You can see min x, the same thing. So just try them out. I'll leave this at sum x, but I'm going to delete that. I'm showing us how to. So I'll just delete this column. I've just shown us how we can use iterative DAX function. Then the second to the last function I'm going to show us is the filter functions. The filter functions are functions that you use to calculate your data based on calculate some measures based on some filter context applied to it. What if looking at going back to my pivot table, of course I can see that to my pivot table here, so I'm waiting for it. Of course, I can see here, I can see where's the one for gender. I can see the F for female, M for male, the one for the, I can say, okay, this is the number of customer for gender and for male. What if I want to calculate them separately? I want to find customers that are female, customers that are male, without having to use a pivot table like this to split them. I want to see it just like the way I did, calculated single measures for these ones. We use calculate function to do this. So I'll come back here to my power pivots and I'll say, I want to find total female customers. So I'll select somewhere here, then I'll come here and type in total female customers, then semicolon equal to. Then I'll use a function called calculate. If you use Power BI, Power BI DAX function, you would understand better. Calculate. So we have the expression. What do you want to calculate? This expression can either be a DAX formula or an already calculated measure. So since I have calculated the total customer, I'll just type in total customer. Don't forget I said your expression can either be a DAX formula or an already calculated measure. I calculated this total customer, so I'll just type in total customer, then comma. The next argument is the filter. What do you want to filter? And that's okay. I want to calculate total customer where what? The gender. So I'll type in gender, where gender is equal to, for female, it is F. So anytime you are typing in any text or any string in a formula, wrap it around double quotation mark. So I'll put double quotation mark, then type F for female, like this, and I'll close my parentheses. So I'm saying that, why did you split? Yes. So I'm saying that calculate the total customer where the gender is equal to F, which is for female. So note one thing as well. If you are typing in anything here as a filter context, it must be exactly what is in that column for gender. So F is in capital letter in that gender, so that I'm using this F. So I'll hit enter. And it will tell you the total number of customers that are female. Can you see? So I come back here to my pivots table, and let's say I copy this, Control C, and I paste it here, Control V. Then I want to, instead of AVG revenue per customer, I'll change this to, so I come here to pivot table analyze to bring, I'll show you a feed list. Then I would uncheck AVG revenue per customer, and you can see the FX. Okay, let me just add this one here and uncheck AVG revenue per customer. So can you see how we singularly created a measure to calculate total female customer using the calculate filter function? Very easy. So if I want to do bike sales, can someone help me? I want to get total revenue for bike sales. So let me do this one. Then someone else will put me on how to do for clothing. So I'll do for bike sales. I'll go for bike sales. I want to get total bike sales. So let's somewhere in my calculation area. Now come here and I'll just type in bike sales colon equal to. Then I'll say calculate. Calculate what? Remember I said your expression could be either a DAX formula or an already calculated measure. For the first example for this one, we use an already calculated measure. But this one I'm going to show us if you want to just type in your DAX formula straight. So I'm saying calculate what? The sum of the revenue. Then I'll close my parentheses for the sum, then comma. Then my filter function is where the product category is equal to bikes. Now close the parentheses. Now this expression is a DAX formula. The other one is an already calculated measure. I'm going to hit enter, and this would help us calculate the revenue for just bikes. Can you see this? If you check this out now, go back to the pivot table, you see it's exactly the same thing as the one we have here. So using your calculate function, you're able to calculate your measures based on some filter context. I don't know if you're getting me. Are we following me? I've lost you guys. Are we following? And
Yes,
if you okay, thank you
we
very
are with
much.
you,
Okay, thank you. Please, if I've lost you, just call my attention. But I know it will take time for some of us to grasp the whole concept because we are new to Power Pivot. But when you watch and you definitely understand very, very well. So I'll just show us how we can calculate filter functions. So I'll just delete these two. I don't need them. Before I delete, can someone put me through? I want to get the total profit for clothing. So can someone put me through? Who wants to help me out? Total, I want to get clothing profit. Clothing profit. Let me use the word clothing profit. So who's putting me through on how to do that? Who is going first? Clothing profit.
Let
Like
me
I'll call.
try, ma.
Okay, all right. So I selected my
Okay, so
calculation area. Okay, so I'll come here.
yes, total. Okay, no, clothing profit semicolon equal to.
Clothing profit semicolon equal to. Okay.
Okay, so we are using what's it? Wait, guys.
Calculate.
Sorry, we are using calculate hence to calculate, and
Okay. What is the expression?
we are using it that yes, the expression for profit is, so we are going to bring some profit.
Okay, so you want to go with the DAX formula, some profit.
Yes,
Some,
ma'am. Some
then the profit.
profit.
Yeah, profits. Okay.
Yes, then comma.
No, you close it because
Then the field.
you close it for the one because some
Okay,
is,
okay,
yeah. Then comma. So what is
okay.
the filter
Then comma.
context?
The filter content is that where clothing, where
Where,
product category
okay, is what?
equals clothing,
Equals
semicolon.
clothing. So you have to wrap it around double quotation marks, clothing. So you have to be
Yes,
sure clothing. Is it, let's see if we, clothing. So I'll close this and hit enter. So let's see if it generated a value for us. So you can see it. And if you come here to profits to the pivot tables, you would see that we have for clothing is the same, for profits, the same amount, 3,000, 3,673,000, and like that. So the same thing. This is how, so I'm just going to I'll delete these three. I don't need, I'm just showing us how you can use the measures to delete from model. I'll delete them from model. Good. Okay, so the last DAX functions I want to show us is the time intelligence DAX functions. And what are these time intelligence DAX functions used for? They are used to help users perform calculations and to analyze data based on time. So let's say I want to see the last year sales or previous year sales. Let's say previous year sales. So I'm going to use it. We have different time intelligence function. We have date add, we have same period last year, we have date YTD, we have MTD, we have there are many time intelligence functions. Let me should I open that? So let me just show us a few, and I'll show us where you can get a site for DAX. So this, if I want to get previous year sales, I'll select somewhere here and let's previous year revenue. I would say previous year revenue. Previous year revenue, then colon equal to previous year revenue. What I'm calculating, so I want to calculate previous year revenue. So I'll see this calculate. Calculate is very, very fun. It's very, very powerful because we use most of the time. Calculate what? The expression. What I want to calculate is revenue. So I'll type in revenue, total revenue. Don't forget I said your expression can either be an already calculated measure or a DAX one to calculate the measure. So since we already have total revenue, so I'll type in total revenue, then comma. The filter is I'm going to type in date. I'll use date add. Date add. Now, this is a time intelligence function. Date add. It's moved to giving set of dates by a specific interval. So I'll double click on this date add. And the first argument is the date. The date I want to work with is the date in the dates in coming from the dim calendar. So I'll type the dates coming from dim calendar here, comma. The next argument is the number of intervals. The number of intervals is going to be just -1, comma. Now, what is -1 means? Because what we're looking for is previous year. So it's going to be -1, previous year sales. So the interval. Now, the next one is the interval. So your interval could either be, since we are dealing with year, previous year. So I'll just type year, and I'll select this one, year. And I'll close my parentheses. So I'm saying calculate the total revenue for the previous year. This -1 indicates previous. And I'm going to hit enter. Previous year. So let's see what happens. I'm going to, once it's done calculating, so I'll go back to my pivot table. Then I'll go back to my pivot table. So waiting for it to load everything. That's to refresh data. So let's say I'm going to use the one for product category. So I'll highlight all this here, Control C, and paste it here, Control V. Then I'll add the previous year sales to it. So you can see what I'm talking about. Previous year sales to it, previous. Let me use the column that contains. Then let me use this. So I'll uncheck product category and just add this thing, add the date hierarchy so we can see. Okay. So let me just create a new one. Pivot table can be funny. So I'll delete this. Then just add a new one here to just show us what the previous year is. Control C, then scroll to the other end and Control V to paste it. So I would add date hierarchy, but I would uncheck the one for country. So it only show date hierarchy. Drag date hierarchy to the rows, total revenue, and I'll also add previous year revenue to it. So let's come here and see. So can you see this? I'm going to add $sign to this, make it so you can see what we are doing. To bring Control 1 to bring the format dialog box, then currency, and I want $sign. I hit OK. Okay, so let me reduce this decimals as well. So here, can you see that this is 2012? The previous year sales for 2012, which is 2011, is this amount. So you see that this one and this one is the same thing. This is 2016. The previous year sales for 2016 is this one, which is 2015. You notice that the total revenue for this is the same thing as the one here. This is 2014. The previous year sales for which is 2013 is 17 million plus, and it's the same thing as the one here. So previous with your date add, which is a time intelligence function, you can do it for previous month, you can do for previous day, as many as possible. So let's go back. Looks like we'll just end here with DAX. Then tomorrow we'll start building dashboard. But I'm okay with, as long as we get some DAX functions and practice them well, I'm okay with it. So let's assume I want to look at previous months. So I'll just come here, I'll copy this formula here. Instead of typing it again, copy, Control C to copy, hit enter, then select the next cell here, and I'll paste it here. But this time I'll change it from previous year revenue to previous month revenue. Then I'll change this. This is date add. So dim calendar date. I'm going to change this from year to month. So I'll type in month. Month. So you can see the months here. Then click on it. Then I'll close. So I'm saying calculate total revenue for the previous month. So I'll hit enter. This will generate previous month's revenue for me. Can you see this? So if you add it as well to your pivot table, it will show the same thing. And that DAX intelligence function is same period last year. So let's say I want to get for same period last year. So I'm going to just copy this again, Control C. Then I'll paste it here. I'll paste this here. Then I'll give this, let me just give it previous year revenue. Calculate where, so I'll just use same period. The filter contents in this case, I'm saying calculate the total revenue for what, comma. So I use same period. Same, so you can see it here. Returns a set of dates in the current selection from the previous year. So they click on this same period, and the only argument it takes is the date. So the date is coming from the dim dates, coming from the dim calendar. Don't make that mistake. It must come from the table that you have, your existing table. Click on this, and I'll close my parentheses. Then I'll also close it as well to close this one. So I say calculate total revenue from the same period last year. So if you're using a filter or a slicer to slice through the year, it calculates. If you're using a year slicer, if I'm currently in 2016, with this same period last year, the intelligence function that I use now, it will calculate the same period that we are currently in 2016. It will calculate for the previous one last year, same period last year. If you're currently in quarter two, it will calculate the quarter two value, quarter two revenue for last year. If you're currently in January, it calculates the January revenue for last year. So same period, whatever period you add this year, calculate the same result for the past year. That's what this same period last year would do. So I hit enter. Okay, I already calculated the. So it says we have a revenue. Okay, we have a measure without name. So I'll give it just one. So I'll show us. So we have date add. We have same period last year, and the other ones dates MTD. We have. So we have them. Let me just show you. There's a site called DAX Guide. So all these DAX functions, we have a site called DAX Guide where you can see different DAX functions and also how to use them. So just go online and type in DAX Guide. DAX Guide. So this is it here. DAX Guide. This is the DAX Guide here. Click on DAX Guide. You get to see all the DAX functions, and how to use them. Currently, they are on, let's say, this ABS, or if I scroll down and look for, let's say I look at all selected, it will tell you what the DAX function is used for, and it will also tell you how the syntax of it, how it's being used, everything, to give you example on how to use it. So you don't have to pack all these DAX. Nobody is a robot. Nobody is an AI here. We are all humans. So we can't have all these DAX functions in our head. Just scroll down, scroll as many as possible to tell you, give you the list of all the DAX functions that we have, and also how you can use them. So that's only DAX functions. I showed us how to use mathematical DAX functions: the sum, the count, the average, the max, the minimum, the mean, the minimum. I've shown us how to use some iterative function, the sum x, average x, max x, mean x. I've shown us how to use some filter functions that calculate. I've shown us how to use some dates DAX function, the date, the year, and you can also use some text DAX function such as upper, lower, len. The format too is also a text function. Then I also showed us the last thing here, which is time intelligence function. So these are the key or major functions, not the major. And we also looked at some logical DAX functions as well. That's all. So I'll just leave it at, I'll leave the previous year revenue here and I'll delete the rest. I don't want them. Okay, so I'll just close this. So I'll come here and I will delete these two. I don't want them. I'll leave only the first one, the previous year, the one calculated using date add. So I'll only leave this one. So we can't just start building reports now. Tomorrow we'll work on that. So just come prepared. Please, let's do it to watch the videos at least to get an understanding of all the things we've been doing so far since yesterday. I know we are new to this, but trust me, once you grasp the knowledge of it, it's going to be something sweet and smooth that you always want to work with or use at all time. Okay. So any question first before I ask us to share what we've learned in today's class? Any question? Anybody lost? So let me see who are those still on the call. Who are those still on the call?
Ma,
Okay.
I'm not lost though, but I was just like searching within my head that how do we even reach this power pivot? How do we bring data inside in the first place? Is it from Power Query? I think it's from Power Query.
Actually, you can bring data in from Power Query straight to Power Pivot without importing data. But because I wanted to show us how you can also import data into Power Pivot, so I showed us how to do that by, let's in your home tab. So let me show you again, although we did that yesterday. If you watch the video, you understand better. In your home tab, you can see this get external data. If the data is from database, that is SQL, Azure, used from database.
Okay.
If the data is from other data sets, use this one. If the data is from other sources, use this. So I'm just going to hold on.
Okay, Ma,
Okay,
I think
say something.
what I'm trying to say is that like if you just have your data in normal Excel workbook, how will you take it to Power Query and Power Pivot?
Power Pivot. So let's assume I'm going to open not a new file. I'm going to open the files that we've worked on here. So let me just look for one file that
Okay.
I've worked on. So let's look at this customer lookup now. This customer lookup data. This one. If I want to bring it in, don't show again. I want to take it to Power Pivot directly. Just click on this Power Pivot here.
Okay.
So then come here. Now it's not even
Okay,
let's see. I'm going to show something before. Let me cancel this and bring it in again. Don't save. So I would come back. So file, I'm going to open the customer lookup again. So let me bring it up. So let's see. No, probably because this is, let me try to Control Shift rightwards, downwards, and let me try to convert it. So let's see. Still grayed out. Maybe probably because it's a CSV file. So let's see. Even at that, you should be able to bring it in. But one of the ways you can bring in data is
I've seen that Power Pivot. I think you already told us how to get Power Pivot from like
the backstage
setting
view.
add-ins. Okay.
Yes, when you add ins, you bring it
That was
in.
what I was trying to remember because I know that I don't see this Power Pivots on
Yeah, you
Excel.
bring it in, you bring it in, you bring it in.
All right,
So
thank
that's
you,
how you
thank
get
you.
it. Because sometimes you can just add your data straight. So maybe because it's a CSV file, I want to show us how you can add it straight directly to your Power Pivot. Don't save. I'm going to open the ones we've worked on. I think is it? Okay. Yeah, let's look at this one. Let's look at this one. So how you can just add the data straight from that table instead of going to import it, and that's I'm going to show us how. It's trying to open the data. But yes, we are done with the whole this thing. So all this, yeah, those data we worked on yesterday while clearly using Power Query. So I can just come here, click on Power Pivot. Can you see that it's active now? I guess because that data was a CSV file, that's why it wasn't showing, it was grayed out. So I didn't have to go and click on open a new sheet and open Power Pivot and start importing data. You can also load the data in directly into Power Pivot like this. So I'll come here and hit manage. The minute I hit manage, this pops up and we're waiting for it to load all the data. You would see all those data in that sheet would appear here. Everything will appear. Currently it's showing, still trying to load the data in. But that's the way you can just bring the data in directly from your Excel workbook without having to go through the import into Power Pivot itself. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, so in 2 minutes, This is 1958. In 2 minutes, can someone share what he or she has picked from today's class? So I'm going to call, let's see. I'm going to call those. Anna, are you there? Anna, Naomi, I want to hear you speak. Can Naomi hear me? I've not heard Naomi's voice since. I don't think I've heard her voice. I'm not sure. I don't know if I'm correct. Uju, are you there? I mean, those ones that are. Uju, can you hear me? Naomi, can you hear me? Priscilla, I've heard Priscilla's voice. So, Fumilola, can you hear me? Boluwaji Moses, can you hear me? If any of you can hear me, just unmute yourself and say something. So I'll know you're following me.
I can hear
Okay.
you, ma.
Okay. All right. So can you share with us what you picked from today's class?
Actually, I didn't start from the beginning of the class, but
Eh,
where I started from was when we started using the calculate part
okay.
for like we calculate for the pivots and for the questions that were from the PDFs from the PDF that we use how to use the pivot product category to using the DAX function. Yeah, DAX function. I remember
All
using
right.
the DAX function.
Okay. Thank you very much for sharing that. So is Moses there with us? Is Boluwaji Moses there with us? Is he there? So I guess
Yeah,
Moses. Okay, good evening, Mr. Moses. Thank you. Can you share with us what you picked from today's class? Thank you.
yes. Obviously, I actually learned a lot. Yeah, it's my first time uh in the DAX functions and the like. And I also learned from the pivot tables that you shared how to get the top 10, the top 5, and how to play around with the pivot tables and the DAX analysis that you showed us. It was very, very educative and insightful.
All right. Thank you very much for sharing. Okay, so the next person, Esther
Can you hear
said
me?
that, yes, I can. I can hear you. I can hear you. Thank you very much for sharing. So Esther said that she learned not to forget to put commas. Just because I forgot how to add commas to my speech and true function. Thank you for sharing, Esther. Okay, so Grace, can Grace hear me? Grace, can you hear me? Grace Fanny, can she hear me? So I think she's not on the call.
Hi, good evening. I can hear
Okay,
you.
hi, good evening, ma'am. Can you share with us in 2 minutes, no, 1 minute, what you picked from today's class? Okay.
No, sorry. I was just following. I was not able to practicalize what you were saying.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Thank you very much. So last person, can Paul share with us what he picked? Then we'll just call it a day. Paul, are you there? Can Paul hear me? If you're saying something, you're muted, Paul. Okay. So I think he's not there.
Can you
So
hear me now?
okay, yes, we can hear you, Paul. We can hear you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Just share with us
Actually, I did not really follow up with because of network. Because of network
issue.
issues, I've been going off and on, off and on. But I
Okay.
know we worked with DAX functions. We worked with how to filter from top 5, top 10. We worked with so many things, which I didn't really get most of the things, which I will work on the video you'll be uploading. So I'm using this opportunity to appeal that the video should be a better quality because the ones you have been downloading ever since it's always blurred. So this is a very important
Blood?
class to me. Yeah,
Blood?
yeah,
I
yes.
think
Anyone?
there's a way you can set your video quality on YouTube recommends they'll give you
No, I
360p.
download. I don't stream. I download.
You
Sir,
download?
it is advisable
Yes,
you
always
stream.
flood.
If you download, it automatically pick 360 resolution
P
for you.
resolution, yes.
Yes.
So it's better you stream. Maybe, yeah, you
Where
can
I stay, I
stream.
have issues with network. I have issues with network. So anywhere I go outside, anytime I go outside, I download everything I need. So I come back and watch them. So that's how I do it. So
Oh, so sorry about that. Except you are on, except on YouTube, you are on, what is it called? The other platform that pays that for YouTube Premium. Except that where
Yes.
you can increase your resolution. But for now, maybe you just try to stream in the night when the network is fine. That's what I do. I stream at night too.
okay, I'll try that today. I'll try that.
Yeah, please,
Thank you
because I
very much.
know YouTube is the one causing the whole thing. So thank you so much, everybody. Thank you for joining in tonight. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Boluwaji Moses. Thank you, Esther. Thank you, Fumi Lola. Thank you, Grace. Even if I don't hear your voice. Thank you, Anna. Thank you, Victoria. Thank you,
This is bias.
Opeyemi.
This is bias greeting. No, no men inside. Men first or in
I
between.
talk, ma. Lola talk, ma.
Okay, Ma.
Thank you, ma.
Okay, thank you so much, everybody. So tomorrow is going to be our last Microsoft Excel class, and we'll be building a dashboard tomorrow. So come prepared tomorrow. So for everyone of us that have been doing the consistency challenge, thank you for doing that. And see, it's good to show people out there your learning process, learning progress, what you've learned. It's good to share with them on LinkedIn so that they will know that you're not just saying those things. You've gone through those trainings, right? So thank you so much, everybody. Let's have a wonderful night rest. We meet tomorrow by 6 p.m. So bye. Thank you. Bye. Good night, everybody.
Hi, good night. Thank you. God bless.
Amen. Bye.
Good
Thank you, ma.
night.
Good
Bye.
night.
Bye. Bye. Good night.
Good night, everyone. Good night.